This is my commandment. It's not a suggestion. He would have said, well, I suggest this, that you love one another just as I have loved you. Right? For 3 years, he showed them how he loved them, day in and day out. The way it happened: Jesus first, others second, yourself third. Joy. I did mention earlier, and I want to mention this again. Think about the most joyful people you know, and think about whether they seem to be grateful people. You think they're grateful people? Think about the people you know. I mean, really, don't put them in the comments. Don't put their names in there. They seem to always be grateful people. They live their lives with a great sense of gratitude, and they may have a lot, but very often, some of the most joyful people, Stella and Richard Wharton, I mean, they lived in a one-room shack with no insulation. You could see the outside through the inside. I mean, they had two pairs of shoes, two pairs of pants, two shirts, and that was that. Yeah, that's how they lived. And they were the most joyful people I ever knew. They had nothing. And they were the most joyful people I've ever known in my life. Maybe you know people like that. Don't you love people that have a lot and they're grateful and joyful? I know people like that. I love being around them. They're just lovely people. And they're so happy. Not because of the stuff they have or the accomplishments that they've acquired or that they've made. They're just so grateful, even along the way. Look, you're not going to be grateful once you get those things. I talked about this earlier. Once you get that big giant house over there and that big fancy car, that's not, oh, I'm going to be happy when I get that. No, it doesn't work that way. You'll be happy along the journey, no matter the challenges sometimes you face. Some of the most joyful people I've known, no matter what's come along, they've just been grateful. They've been joyful. They live their life with joy and gratitude. People with a lot of YOJ, they never seem to be happy people. They just never seem to be happy, no matter what they have, no matter how much they've accomplished, no matter how many church words they regurgitate to you. You look at them and you say, you know, if you're happy and you know it, you should tell your face to show it. If you're happy and you know it, say amen. Right? And there's all those different things. But you got to tell your face. You got to tell your heart. Look, if you're a church person, you've been in church your whole life, and you're miserable, and I know a lot of people who are miserable, but they can sound churchy in a half nanosecond. They can regurgitate churchy phrases and buzzwords and all these things. They can do it in a second with no strain, no stress at all. But it always seems like they're not happy. They don't seem to live their lives with any joy, and they don't seem to live with any gratitude, and nobody wants to follow the Jesus of people who don't live with joy, even wealthy people, even people who have accomplished a lot, even people who have so much, but they're not happy and they're not joyful and they're not grateful, and nobody wants to follow their Jesus. They just don't. You, others, and Jesus. Ask yourself this, and this is in closing. Ask yourself this. If your problem with your joyless life, I'm going out on a limb here. If your problem with your joyless life, it might be a spelling problem. It might be as simple as a spelling problem. Joy. Maybe you've been spelling it wrong. Yourself, others, and Jesus. Flip that around. Joy. Jesus. Put your heart and your mind on Jesus first. Others. Be grateful. Be generous. Be kind. Not just with, you don't have to be rich. Be kind with your time. Be grateful with your time. And then you. I think you find by the time you get to the you'll be just so darn happy. Yeah, maybe it is. Maybe a joyless life is all about a spelling problem. More Jesus, more joy. Thanks for joining me. Shalom, shalom, and amen.